Just getting started here, guys. In a few minutes, giving you some time to get ready. Ironing out any technical difficulties. Is it sideways? Okay. So this Facebook Live yoga class stuff really isn't for me. It's not my forte, but I'm doing this for you. I'll try and keep going every Thursday evening just as if we were doing a class anyways. I much prefer in person. This is actually much more nerve-wracking doing it this way than being in front of all of you. So bear with me throughout all of this. This is very new to me. I am recording all of this with my iPad. Not sure how it looks for you guys or how it sounds, so hopefully it's okay. I posted my Spotify account on my yoga page, and I actually posted a new playlist today that I made for today's class called Holding Space. So if you have access to, hi Amber, if you have access to Spotify, go on my playlist and you can play it in the background. I'm going to have it playing very softly here for myself. You won't be able to hear it. I really struggle to do yoga without some good music, so I don't want it to take over the class. So the music's in the background for me. Play whatever you'd like as we get ready. I'm actually going to turn my music down and show you something. I don't have a bolster of my own at home. Hang on here. So I've just made my own bolster with, I have a body pillow from my bed, couple blankets on it that we'll use at the end of the class. We don't need it until then. If you don't have a body pillow, grab a couple nice big fluffy pillows off your bed, maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 of them if you've got, because we will use this at the end for our recline butterfly. So you don't need it right now, but keep it for the end. So if you need to run and get that stuff, grab it now. We have another minute to get ready. Grab any of your favorite things that you like before we start. We'll just make sure this is still recording. I think we're okay. So this is my favorite spot to do yoga in my house. I've challenged you all to find a space that you can use and keep your mat out all the time. It is life-changing when you keep your mat out. It's tempting as you walk by it numerous times during the day or evening to just get on it, even if it's for like 2 minutes, to practice something or just to sit and breathe. If your mat's not out, we're likely not going to make that effort very often to get on it. So I just challenge you, leave that mat out, even once all this, whatever this is done. Let's cultivate a practice here and practice a little bit more at home for ourselves. So my favorite place to practice is here, right by my windows. I have bird feeders hanging, so during the day I can hear the birds and watch the birds, and in the evening I can see the whole valley behind me all lit up, and it's absolutely breathtaking. And I absolutely love practicing yoga once the sun's gone down, looking out these windows. So find a place that you can feel safe and peaceful, somewhere where you can breathe. So if you're getting settled into your space, looks like oh, hi, Christina and Joe and Stella. Hi, you guys. Thanks for coming to practice with me today. Bear with me. So, to start, we will find a nice, easy seated position on our mat to start. Just settling into our space. I like to prop myself up on a little pillow, or maybe you do have a block with you. It feels really good to have my hips raised just above my knees. It really gives me some nice, easy way to sit so that I'm not straining my hip flexors. And I'm grounding my sit bones down into the mat, sitting nice and tall. So today we're just going to work on cultivating a deeper awareness of our inner world. What does that look like? What should it look like? A place that we can come to when we're feeling stressed, when we're feeling anxious. Maybe all we need to do is close our eyes for just a moment wherever we are and come to that space. So we'll spend the next hour really cultivating that space inside of us. So as we sit nice and tall, we'll gently close our eyes. Maybe press play on your music if you've got it close by. And just settle in. Just settle into your body and start to tune into the space inside you that you know is there, but you don't always get a chance to access. Breathe deeply and say hello to this interior you. The you that remains unchanged by all that happens in the world. And tonight, as we move, return to this. And then when you feel settled, just begin to breathe. Just start to feel yourself slipping in, shifting gears, finding some well-deserved quietness and calmness before we start to move our bodies. Sitting nice and tall, shoulders are soft, relaxing through the belly, relaxing your jaw. Find that place in you where you have nowhere to go. You're not needing to get anywhere or make anything happen. Just allow your breath this evening to really be the anchor for your mind. And every time you find your mind drifting off down an alleyway, just bring it back to that mantra of your breath. So acknowledge it and then breathe. Starting to invite your inhales in a little bit deeper. Pressing those exhales out a little bit longer. Keeping those shoulders nice and soft, sitting tall. Relaxing through that space between your eyes on your forehead. Relaxing the eyes. Soften your fingers and your toes. Beginning to notice what that breath feels like as you draw it in through the nose, into the lungs. And as that breath leaves your body, notice what it feels like. Paying some attention to those spaces in between your breath. That's where your soul resides. Noticing if you're feeling a little calmer, more peaceful. Maybe your heart rate has come down. And then gently open your eyes. And if you are sitting on something, just place it aside. You might need it. Don't put it too far away. Keeping in mind, this isn't all levels yoga class this evening, so this can be as gentle as you'd like, or as powerful as you like, or somewhere in the middle. It's up to you. Remember, we're here with no expectations of ourselves, no judgment of where we were yesterday or where we are today, and no competition. We're here to breathe, feel, listen to our bodies, and just trying to stay in the present moment. Remembering, especially in these all-level classes, we're always going to make a pose work for us. We're never fitting our body into a pose. So it is going to look different for all of us. I especially want you to notice and recognize how a pose feels instead of what it looks like or how you think it should look like. Staying with those principles of alignment that we always talk about in class, and just taking the pose as your body needs today. So starting in easy seated pose, we'll bring our soles of our feet together, coming into butterfly. And again, butterfly can be taken with your feet out far. You can bring your heels closer in towards the buttocks if you'd like. And then grounding those sit bones down nice and deep into the earth, sitting tall, so you're reaching the crown of the head all the way towards the sky, and just grasping the feet with your hands. And just feeling a nice grounding presence here, rooting down. Maybe if you'd like to do some chakra work tonight, you're imagining your root chakra, grounding a red light spinning at the base of your tailbone. And then from here, we'll take a big inhale, reaching the crown of our head towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, we'll hinge from the hips with a nice long spine, just coming forward into a bit of a butterfly forward fold. Noticing how we feel, so we might be a little tight early in our practice. Any discomfort we're feeling this evening, we're being mindful. So any injuries, we're healing, taking care of those injuries and those body parts. And then taking another big inhale here as we really lengthen again in the spine. Exhale, maybe sinking a little bit deeper into butterfly. And then as we sink deeper, we'll round through the spine, allowing the head to drop towards the floor, relaxing through the upper body. Feeling a stretch in those hip flexors, low back. Just allowing your breath to rest here. And slowly coming back up to center. Staying in butterfly if it feels good, or you can come right back into an easy seated pose. I'm going to stay in butterfly. It feels good for the hips tonight. Inhaling, reaching fingertips towards the ceiling. And then as we exhale, we'll reach our right hand down towards the mat, reaching left fingertips over towards the left side of our mat. Right side of our mat. Grounding those sit bones down equally into the earth. So our left sit bone is not lifting up here. We're grounding down, reaching those left fingers, feeling a big stretch in our side body. And inhaling back to center, reach high, exhale, left hand comes down beside us. Right hand reaches towards the left side of the mat. Grounding those sit bones down. Feeling a big stretch up the right side body. And as you inhale, imagine that breath coming all the way from the tailbone up through the rib cage and all the way through the fingertips. Taking that exhale all the way back down, right into the ground. Inhaling back to center, exhaling hands to heart center. We'll bring the soles of our feet to the mat. And just leaning back on our hands, we'll bring our right shin to the left thigh. And we can start by having our foot out nice and far. Sitting nice and tall, grounding those sit bones down again into the earth. If you'd like a little more sensation here, you'll start to bring your left foot closer towards your body. Flexing the toes of the right foot towards the ceiling to protect the knee. So we're just in a seated pigeon, figure 4. And you'll bring the heel as close to the body as feels good for you. So be mindful, listen to how you feel. The closer you bring the heel in towards the body, the bigger stretch you're going to get, especially through that right glute. So up through the piriformis muscle. This is great for anyone with sciatic issues, being mindful of not taking it too far. Feeling no pain. Listening to your body. Shoulders stay down away from the ears. It's easy in this pose to crunch those shoulders up into the ears. So pressing those shoulders down away from the ears. Sitting nice and tall. Nice long spine. Our head is always in line with the spine. And then we'll gently release that right foot back down to the mat and just switching sides. So maybe taking that foot out long again. Left foot, left shin to the right quad. Flexing those toes on the left foot, protecting that knee. And if you'd like a little more sensation, just starting to bring that right heel towards the glute. Only going as far as feels good for you today, being mindful. Shoulders soft away from the ears. And don't hold your breath here. Stay with your breath, let it be your anchor. Pay attention to the narrative going on inside your head. What are you saying to yourself? For every negative, please try and replace it tonight with a positive. And then just gently releasing, bringing that sole of the foot back down to the mat. Give yourself a hug. So grasping the shins, give yourself a hug, sitting nice and tall. Rock it out a little bit. And then from our seated position, we'll take ourselves down, supine, all the way onto the mat. Nice and slow, being careful and mindful. And then we'll just slide our heels closer to the glutes. Reaching those palms all the way towards the ceiling, towards the top of the mat. And we'll just start to rock the knees back and forth. Just for some very gentle windshield wipers. So we're just warming up our spine. This feels great on your low back. I've had some low back issues for a while now. And this is the one thing I do every single day. It feels so good. And then find some stillness. Grounding soles of the feet down into the mat. We'll bring our palms down beside us. So pressing palms into the mat. We'll take a big inhale and reach our hips towards the sky. And as we exhale, we'll bring those hips back down towards the mat. Another big inhale, reach those hips, engaging through the core, engage the quads, not letting those knees splay out or in, bringing the hips back down to the mat on our exhale. So let's continue with our breath through a bridge flow. Inhale as you lift the hips, exhale as the hips come back down to the mat. Next inhale, we'll meet with our hips reaching towards the ceiling. You can stay right here in a bridge hold, or if you have the accessibility tonight, let's walk our shoulder blades in towards each other, clasping our hands underneath for a chest expansion. Glutes are engaged, quads are engaged. Nice strong core, and don't forget to breathe. And then we'll gently release those hands, walking the shoulder blades out, and just relax the hips back down to the mat, bringing your knees, so gather them in towards your chest, knees to chest, rock it out, give yourself a little massage. And then we'll cross our feet, and we'll rock ourselves right over into tabletop. In our tabletop, we'll take some hip circles. So just take a big inhale where you are, and then as you exhale, rocking back towards the heels, inhaling as you come forward, and then exhaling as you go back. Doesn't matter which way you go to start. Remember to do what feels good. Listen to your body, stay with your breath. And then we'll take it the other way. So inhaling as you come forward, exhale as you move back. This feels great also for anyone with any hip problems or low back issues. And then we'll find some stillness in tabletop. We'll take a child's pose. I like to widen my knees for my child's pose, touching my toes behind me, sinking my hips all the way back, stretching my fingertips forward, and then gently allowing my head to rest on the mat in front of me. If that's too much, your head can rest on your fists or on a block. Just do what feels good for you. So coming to child's pose at any time during your practice you feel you need a rest. Feeling a nice stretch here in your hip flexors, the low back. And then pressing into your palms. I'll turn here for you. We'll come into either a kneeling plank or a full plank. Again, it's whatever your body feels like doing today. So, full plank, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, nice long spine. And we'll be mindful here not to allow our tailbone to reach towards the sky like we are in down dog, and not to allow our tailbone to dip towards the mat. So nice long spine, strong core. If plank is a little too much, we just bring our knees to the mat, just like this. So holding a nice strong plank, so whether you're in plank or kneeling plank. We'll take a big inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to reach our right knee towards our right elbow for a crunch. Big exhale. Inhale as you move back to plank. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, back to plank. One more time. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Back to plank on your exhale. Sorry, inhale. Take a big inhale. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. And back. And just coming to kneeling plank if you aren't already. Sinking those hips back to your child's pose. Just let your breath rest. Coming here at any time when you need. And then lifting back up, coming to tabletop. We'll bring our right foot in between our palms, finding ourselves now in a kneeling lunge. Placing the left hand down on the mat next to the right foot. Taking a really big inhale here. And as you exhale, reaching those right fingertips towards the sky for a twisted lunge. Lifting the heart. Keeping that shoulder away from the ear. Remembering to breathe. And then bring that right hand back down onto the mat. Stepping that left foot back to your kneeling plank or tabletop. And bringing the left foot through between the palms. Right hand next to the left foot. Take a big inhale here. And as you exhale, reach the left fingertips towards the sky. Lifting your heart. Shoulders are away from the ears. Nice long spine. Gaze can be taken out beside you or towards the ceiling, whatever feels good. And then bringing the palm back down to the mat, stepping your foot back into your kneeling plank. From your kneeling plank, we'll take a quick vinyasa. So you can stay in kneeling plank or full plank. I'll stay in kneeling plank for you. We'll lower into chaturanga. So we'll take a big inhale, lowering into chaturanga, all the way down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, pushing all the way back up to kneeling plank, tucking the toes and lifting the hips into downward facing dog. Walking out the feet, feeling a nice stretch in your hamstrings. Your head just hangs between the biceps. And we're rotating our shoulders out away from the body, an external rotation. Palms are planted down into the mat. And in this first inversion today, in this down dog, imagine all your negative thoughts leaving your body through the crown of your head. Find some stillness in your downward facing dog. And then from our down dog, we'll step forward into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, reach your fingertips towards the sky. And exhale your hands to heart center. So we'll take another vinyasa in whichever way feels good for you. You can be a kneeling plank or plank to up dog or cobra, whatever feels good. So from your mountain, nice strong mountain, Rooting down through the foundation, all four corners of the feet, standing nice and tall. Shoulders are down away from the ears. Taking an inhale, reaching your fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, hinging at the hips, coming into a forward fold, wherever that might be for you tonight. Inhale, halfway up, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat, stepping back to plank or kneeling plank. Exhale, chaturanga, elbows in. And inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And from this down dog today, we'll just step our left foot in a little bit closer to the right. We'll take an inhale as we reach our right foot up behind us for three-legged dog. And then we'll bring that right foot all the way through between the palms, setting our left foot down on the mat, rotating it down, bending through the front knee, and inhaling, reaching our fingertips towards the sky for warrior one. And I'm just going to turn myself to the back of my mat, just for demonstration purposes. So in your warrior one, you're standing nice and strong, being mindful in this warrior pose that you're not rolling the back foot in towards the big toe edge. So making sure the pinky edge of the foot is also grounding down into the mat. And in this warrior one, we'll take a big inhale, reaching, exhale, warrior two. In warrior two, just taking our gaze out over our front fingertips. So you can stay right here in warrior two, or if you'd like to take part in a chest expansion, reaching your palms behind you and grasping your hands. Shoulders are pulling down away from the ears. Heart is lifted towards the sky. And then with this chest expansion in warrior two, we'll start to hinge at the hips, coming so that our torso is parallel with our mat. So our core is engaged, engaging through the quads, feeling this in our inner thighs. Holding strong, staying with our breath. Micro bend in that left knee. And then we'll start to lift back to center, reaching fingertips to the front and back of the mat. Warrior two. Noticing how you feel. Come back to your breath. Inhale, warrior one, reaching those fingertips towards the sky. In this warrior one, we'll reach our hands behind us, clasping into another chest expansion. So we could stay right here in our chest expansion, warrior one. Or if you'd like a little more sensation, we can start to come into humble warrior. So we'll start to hinge at the hips, bringing our torso down towards our right thigh. Stopping wherever our body needs us to this evening. Being mindful, not pushing, not feeling any pain. Maybe the crown of your head reaches all the way down towards the mat. For humble warrior. Coming back all the way up, reaching fingertips to the sky for your warrior one. Then we'll windmill our hands back down towards the plank or kneeling plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, lifting the hips to the sky for downward facing dog. Find some rest here in your down dog. And take child's pose if you need to. And then moving to the other side, so stepping the right foot in. Inhaling, reaching that left foot up behind us. And then as we exhale, we'll sweep that left foot in between the palms, rotating that right foot down on the mat, bending through the front knee. Inhaling, reaching your fingertips towards the sky for warrior one. And I'm going to turn one more time on my mat for you. And don't be afraid to play around with your warrior stance as you go. Adjust your feet as you need. Take a big inhale and reach, and then as you exhale, warrior two. So you're turning your hips to the long edge of the mat. Being mindful, feeling all four corners of the feet, grounding into the mat. To create some dynamic tension here, we're acting as if we're trying to rip our mat apart. So we're pressing our feet out away from each other. And in this warrior two, if it feels good, we'll come into a chest expansion, clasping our hands behind us, reaching our heart towards the sky. And then bringing our torso parallel with the mat, so hinging at the hips, nice and slow, core is engaged. Staying with your breath. Holding strong. And then slowly coming back to center, reaching fingertips to the front and back of the mat, warrior two. Inhaling, reaching fingertips to the sky, warrior one. Coming into another chest expansion if that feels good, reaching and clasping our hands behind us, hearts lifted towards the sky. Gaze can be taken forwards in front of you or slightly upwards. You can stay here or start to come into humble warrior, hinging at the hips, bringing your torso down towards that left thigh, stopping wherever we need to this evening. If it feels good, allowing the head to drop towards the mat, reaching the hands towards the sky. Humble warrior. All four corners of both feet grounding down into the mat. Gently coming back to center, releasing fingertips towards the sky. Warrior one. Take a big inhale as you reach. Exhale, we'll windmill our hands back down towards the mat. Stepping back to plank or kneeling plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, lift the hips into downward facing dog, walking it out. Then from our down dog, we'll bring our knees down onto the mat, sink your hips into a child's pose, allowing your breath to rest. Then pressing into the palms and just coming to a seat on your mat. We'll start with a seated yogi squat. So, just bringing the soles of your feet out nice and wide, hands to heart center, and we'll just gently take our triceps and just gently press into our inner thighs, opening up those hip flexors. So we're just in a seated yogi squat. So if you know your yogi squat and this is where you stay, you'll stay right here. If you'd like to come right up into your yogi squat, we'll just press through our hands behind us, bringing our tailbone up off the mat, coming forward, maybe adjusting our feet as we need. So some of us will have the soles of our feet flat on our mats. Some of us will be on the balls of our feet. It will look different for everybody. So find a good placement for your feet. Tailbone is reaching down towards the mat. Heart is lifted. So sometimes we tend in this yogi squat to drop our heart towards the mat. But the idea here is to have a nice tall spine, reaching our heart towards the sky. And then gently pressing those inner thighs out away from us with our triceps, bringing our hearts to hand center for our Anjali Mudra. And if it feels good, bringing your thumbs to the sternum. Gently close your eyes. Come back to your breath and observe what it feels like. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat underneath your thumbs. And then from this yogi squat, just bringing our palms to the ground, and we'll start to lift our hips up towards the ceiling, coming up only halfway. And then engaging through the core, we'll stay in this squat as we lift our crown of our head towards the sky, finding ourselves, might have to adjust the feet a little bit, in goddess. So in this goddess, we'll bring cactus arms and reach the fingertips to the ceiling as we come out of goddess into a 5-pointed star. Take a big inhale, and as we exhale, coming back into goddess. Inhale, reach those fingertips. Exhale. So in Yoga Fit language, we call this moonflowers. Tailbone is reaching down towards the mat. And as we inhale, we reach those fingertips high. Big exhale. Keeping those exhales nice and long. Next time we inhale, we'll reach high. And as we exhale, we'll bend through the knees, but we'll hinge at the hips, sweeping our fingertips towards the mat. Inhaling back to our 5-pointed star. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Sweeping our fingertips to the floor, inhaling 5-pointed star. This is called sunflowers. So you'll feel this in your glutes, your inner thighs, your quads, your low back. It's also good for the upper body. Our arms are moving, our shoulders, our chest, our back. Next inhale, we'll meet in 5-pointed star. Exhale, hands to heart center. Heel toe the feet back in towards center. Finding yourselves in a nice, strong mountain. Grounding down through all 4 corners of the feet. Knees are over the ankles. Hips over knees. Heart over hips. Shoulders down away from the ears. And gently close your eyes. Once again, observe your breath. Drop into that inner landscape. Notice how you feel. And then gently open your eyes. By doing this, it's helping us stay present throughout our practice. Come back to your breath and notice how you feel. Listen to your body. From mountain, we will inhale, reaching our fingertips to the sky. Exhale, coming into a forward fold. Nice and slow. Inhale, halfway up. And then as we exhale, bending through the knees, we'll just step the left foot back, keeping the right foot forward, so finding ourselves in a lunge. So here, you could stay in a full lunge, or you can bring your knee to the mat. So do what feels good. Remember, this can be as powerful or as gentle as you'd like. And then from this lunge, we're going to heel toe that right foot out towards the edge of the mat. And your toes will hang off the mat. So we're going to come into lizard. So again, you could be in with your knee up off the mat, or your knee can be on the mat. I like to have a block or a small pillow close by for lizard. So if you have a small couch pillow or something, you can grab it. You may not need it at all. And I'm actually going to turn my body, so stay in your lunge, whether you're kneeling or not. Heel toe that foot to the side. So for lizard, if you're kneeling, you could stay right here. This might be enough of a stretch for you. You'll be feeling this through the front body of your left hip flexor and through the glute of the right side. If you'd like to get further into lizard, if you have that block close by, you can come down with your forearms onto the block. If you don't use the block, it'll look like this. You'll be down on your forearms right on the mat. A little bit more sensation here. Doesn't always feel good. So play with it. Do what feels good. We'll just spend a moment here breathing into the pose, opening up the hips, and then remove whatever you have if you do have a block. And we'll just take our right hand and we'll turn towards that right knee and we'll just press into the inner thigh. So don't press on the knee, just pressing on that inner thigh, just opening up that hip just a little bit more. And we're twisting and reaching our heart towards the sky. So I should be faced the other way for you maybe for this. So just lifting your heart towards the sky and just gently pressing that inner thigh out. Come back to center. Curl your left toes under and then reach that right knee behind you. And then sink your hips into a child's pose, just to counteract that stretch. If it feels good, you can move into downward facing dog. So just coming into that rebound pose in whatever way feels good. And then coming back to our tabletop, we'll reach that left foot forward. Again, you can be on the ball of the back foot there, so have your knee off the mat. And then heel toe that left foot off the mat. Your toes will be hanging off the mat. So you can stay right here for lizard. This might be more than enough for you. Again, your knee can be down on the mat if you'd like. Bringing a block if you need, coming down onto your forearms if that's accessible to you this evening. Just listen to your body. Do what it needs this evening. If your knee's off the mat, it'll look a little bit like this. A lot more sensation for me right now in my right hip flexor. And just don't forget to breathe. Then wherever you are, maybe bringing your knee to the mat, getting rid of the block. Right hand comes to the mat, taking the left hand to the inner thigh, and gently pressing it outwards as we lift our heart towards the sky. It's getting a little more sensation in that left inner thigh. Come back to center. Both palms grounding into the mat, reaching that left foot back behind us, sinking your hips into a child's pose. Just noticing now how you feel. And then pressing into the palms, tucking the toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. We'll step our feet forward into a forward fold. Inhale halfway up, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your fingertips towards the sky. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Notice how you feel. Come back to that inner landscape. What are you saying to yourself? How do your hips feel? How does your back feel? How does your heart feel? So we'll find ourselves again in mountain, grounding all four corners of the feet into the mat, standing nice and tall. We'll come into a balancing pose. So for anybody that likes to use the wall in class, if you're next to a wall, great. If not, maybe grab a kitchen chair. We'll be coming into tree, so do what you need for tree. So standing nice and tall, we'll start to shift our weight into the left foot. We'll reach those right toes out beside us. Find something to look at in front of you. Find your drishti point. It will help you balance. Don't take your eyes off it. And then start to bring those right toes in towards the left ankle. Just spending a moment here to find your balance. Your right knee is pointing out beside you. If it feels good, you can start to bring that foot up onto the leg, maybe on your calf, maybe into the groin. Being very mindful of not pressing the foot into the knee. So this isn't overly safe. Pressing below or above. If you are bringing your foot up to the groin, just being very mindful as you gently reach, placing that heel into the groin, finding your balance, keeping a micro bend in the standing leg. Your hands can stay at heart center, or they can reach towards the sky. Big branches. Coming back to your breath. Practicing what we spoke about at the beginning of class. So cultivating that space within you. Something inside where you can gently close your eyes and come back to at any time you need, no matter where you are. Your hands are reaching towards the sky, bringing them back to heart center. And then gently releasing your foot, very gentle, down to the mat, shaking it out. And really noticing this evening how each side feels different from the other. So let's find some balance. Come back to your mountain, all four corners of the feet grounding down into the mat. Shifting the weight into the right foot, reaching the left toes out beside us. Find that spot to look at. Find your drishti point. Don't take your eyes off it. Starting to bring those left toes in towards the right ankle. Knees pointing out beside you. Microbend in the standing leg. If it feels good, beginning to bring that left foot up onto the leg, maybe onto the calf. Being mindful of not pressing into the knee. Stay with your breath. If you're placing your heel in your groin, doing it ever so carefully and gently. And then if it feels good, reaching your fingertips towards the sky. Shoulders are soft and away from the ears. You may come in and out of tree numerous times during this balance pose, and that's okay. It's why this thing called yoga is called a practice. We're here to practice. Maybe we sway, and that's okay, because your roots are deep here. Just keep coming back in and stay with your breath. You're reaching towards the sky, bringing your hands back to heart center, gently releasing the foot back down to the mat. Really noticing now how each side feels, hopefully a little bit more balanced. So as we start to wind down, you might want to bring a blanket before we get down onto the mat. So just bring your blanket close by if you have one for your knees. We'll take a sun salutation down to the mat. So starting in a nice strong mountain pose, inhaling, reaching fingertips to the sky. Exhale, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, nice long spine. Exhale, bending at the knees, hands to the mat, stepping back to plank or kneeling plank. Exhale, chaturanga, elbows in. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhaling, reaching the hips towards the ceiling for downward facing dog. And from this down dog, we will bring our knees down to the mat. And this is where you will need your blanket. So bringing that blanket under the knees if you need. Not all of us will. So bringing our knees onto the mat. Our knees are about onto the blanket, about hip width apart. So hips are over our knees, shoulders over hips to start. We'll come into camel. So camel will look different for all of us. Making our hands into fists, taking those fists and just bringing them to the base of our low back, tops of the glutes. Our shoulders are going to be away from the ears, rotating down and back. Our elbows are coming towards each other. So squeezing those shoulder blades in towards each other. Elbows reaching towards each other. So you might stay right here for camel. The soles of your feet can be flat, the tops of the feet on the mat, or if it feels better, you can tuck your toes here. So remember to do what feels good for your body, and I feel better with tucked toes. If you'd like to go a little bit further into camel, you're going to start reaching your heart towards the sky, pressing your hips towards the front of the mat. Just reaching, maybe you stay right here. This is where camel is for you. Head is in line with the spine. If full camel is in your practice, you're just reaching your fingertips towards the heels, pressing your hips towards the front of the mat. So we're not rocking way back in camel. We're pressing the hips forward, opening the heart. Staying where we feel comfortable. And don't forget to breathe. It's easy to hold our breath here in camel. And then wherever you are, coming back to center, sinking the hips back towards our heels and coming into just a quick child's pose, just for a rebound. Noticing how you feel. And then pressing up, we'll come into hero. So in hero, you can keep that blanket there if you'd like. You could stay right up on your shins, just like this. This is the start of hero. This might be enough for you. If you'd like to start to take hero pose a little bit further, you'll keep the knees together, spreading the feet behind you, bringing your buttocks down. Now, if your buttocks does not want to sit on the mat and it's too hard on your knees, you could bring a pillow, a block, a blanket underneath the buttocks so that you're sitting up, just like this. This is very good for fatigue in the legs. If you've been on your feet all day, spend a few minutes in hero pose. It's also good for fallen arches, so it helps strengthen the feet. So again, if you have issues with your feet, sit in hero pose, just for a few minutes. So the sit bones are grounding into whatever we're sitting on. Maybe it's the mat, maybe it's a block. Nice and tall, crown of the head reaching towards the ceiling. Now we can stay right here in hero, which is great. If you'd like to take hero further, for any of you that have reclined hero in your practice, I'm just going to turn myself here. So remember to stay wherever you're comfortable. So if you're in hero and you want to come to reclined hero, you're just coming, not far enough. Don't do that. Just coming back onto my palms, and I can stay right here, so I'm reaching my heart to the sky. So if anyone has any knee issues, this will not feel good for you. So you just stay in whichever version feels good. You can also come all the way down onto your forearms. So you're coming into reclined hero. Be mindful of your neck, so your head is in line with your spine. Your core is engaged. Being very mindful here. If you could bring your torso all the way down onto the mat, that might be accessible to you. Doesn't feel great for me. And then wherever you are, we're coming back up to center. And then I'm rolling forward onto my palms, wherever we are, gently releasing. We'll come into our restorative pose of the practice. So this is where we're going to need our bolster, blanket, great big body pillow. Maybe you have 4 pillows off your bed, and just stack them and put them down on your mat, making a nice surface. So I'm going to use this body pillow and a couple blankets. So just give yourself a nice surface that you're going to recline onto. So I just want you to sit with your hips against whatever it is you found to use this evening. We'll come into butterfly. So bringing the soles of the feet together. And again, this butterfly will be different for all of us. So your feet might be out here and you see a diamond shape, or maybe your heels are in closer towards the groin. So do what feels good. And then we'll just start to lower ourselves down onto whatever is behind you. So I've got this big pillow with some blankets. And just find some comfort here. This is where you really want to let everything go. Allow all your muscles to soften. And if you're feeling a strain through the hip flexors and this doesn't feel good, you can place blocks or pillows underneath the knees or thighs here, or you can just allow your legs to go long if that feels better. So remember, this is your practice. Do what feels good. So we'll just spend a couple of minutes here in butterfly. Just let your breath rest. So relax the glutes, the hip flexors. Let go of any tension you're holding through the thighs. Relax through the low back and the belly. Shoulders are soft and melting down underneath you. Soften through your jaw. Relax the eyes. Relax through the forehead. And then if you're in butterfly, just gently draw our knees in towards each other, bringing the soles of our feet to the mat. Just noticing how you feel. And then rolling over to either side, carefully off whatever you're on, pressing up, getting yourself ready for Shavasana. So this is the time to allow everything to rest and to reap the benefits of your practice this evening. So maybe you place whatever you had underneath your back, under your knees this evening. Maybe you grab another pillow and a blanket so that you're nice and comfortable. Maybe you have some nice gentle music playing. Just start to get your body ready. Take up space on your mat during Shavasana. I will just sing you a little, I won't sing, I'll say a little Shavasana lullaby to get you nice and relaxed. So if you're comfortable, just allow your breath to rest for now. Like a tree putting roots down, feel held by the hands of this world, supported and at peace. Sweep the body with breath, each creation and dissolution helping us find rest. See the lights in the body, slowly turning off in each room, one by one. Walk through your body slowly, dimming each room. The head, the chest, your arms, your torso, your belly, your legs, your feet. Total darkness, complete stillness. You can press mute if you'd like to stay in Shavasana. Otherwise, just beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes. If there's one thing that I may tell you, let it be, you are your home. Your body is the only house that you'll ever truly own. Maybe it's got some broken windows and there are tear stains on the floors. Maybe you lock the things you wish you weren't behind its many doors. But there's wisdom on its bookshelves and a laugh to light the room. There's a vase upon the table where the love you've grown all blooms. Dreams sit on the mantelpiece next to kindness and your trust, where you use them all so often they have no time to collect dust. So please don't look at mansions with that envy in your eyes. There's more that makes a home than its appearance or its size. Your body is your shelter, so you deserve to love it all. Don't let the world stand round outside and tell you how to paint your walls. How lucky that you have somewhere to protect you from the night. And if there's cracks left from the past, well then they just let in more light. Just beginning to take a big stretch, arms above, just gently waking up your body. Notice if you feel any different from the start of your practice this evening. Come back to that intention, that cultivation of inner awareness. Root it deep inside and see if it's somewhere you can come to again. Then when you're ready, rolling to either side. Spend a moment there. Just appreciate what you've done over the past hour. And only when you're ready, coming to a seat on your mat. As you leave this space, wherever you are this evening, vow to nurture this connection to your deeper self. Return to it through your day, through your week, knowing that when you come back to the deepest part of yourself, you cultivate a clear path to happiness. Thank you so much for coming to practice with me this evening. I miss you all. Namaste. So I'll be back again next Thursday for sure. I'll post it hopefully at 6 o'clock. I'll try to keep to our normal class times that we always have, just sticking to the one and all levels from 6 to 7. I'm going to try to throw in some other things if I get the time, maybe a nice chakra class, maybe another yin class. I'll send out an email maybe so that I could keep you updated on that. But otherwise, I will be here next Thursday again at 6 o'clock for an all levels class. Shoot me a message if there's something you'd like to see, if there's something you want to chat about. Don't want anyone to feel lonely. We have this wonderful yoga community here in Minnedosa. So I'd like to keep it going strong until we can gather once again. And maybe it will be under a big blue sky at the beach. See you next week.